Rishi Sunak is beyond incompetent. So one of the ways in which our NHS is currently being run into the ground is that in a lot of places around the UK, including here, it is almost impossible to get a GP appointment. The best you'll get is one in several weeks' time, or you have to ring up at like 8 a.m. on the dot and keep pestering until you finally get through to get one of a tiny handful of emergency appointments, undoubtedly for a condition that isn't really an emergency but will become one if you're forced to wait several weeks for an appointment. And the solution is really, really straightforward. Simply fund more GP surgeries, simply fund doctors and the NHS better. It's as simple as that. And we know what this solution is because it's what doctors and nurses are out on the streets telling us over and over and over again. And in fact, not only would that solve the problem, it would actually have a knock-on positive effect right across the NHS and the rest of our society. So when we pay people a bit more, they end up paying a bit more in tax and spending a bit more in our economy. So they boost other businesses around the economy. They boost tax receipts. They buy things like comedy tickets. It would be good for all of us. On top of that, if we paid doctors and nurses a little bit better, we wouldn't have so many staffing gaps in the NHS, and therefore doctors and nurses being massively overworked, having to take time off because they're exhausted, making mistakes because they're exhausted and shattered. These kind of things. We wouldn't be using as many agency workers to fill gaps in the NHS, which in fact ends up costing us more than it would to have regular NHS staff filling those gaps. And that half of that money is then going to the agency, which is a private company that's just going straight to profits into shareholders' pockets. And then you've got the fact that agency staff are temporary, they come and go, and actually it's much better to have health staff who are there in the long term and therefore can get to know patients and have experience of working in that team and department. It all works loads better if we just do the simple thing that solves the problem that is staring us in the face. Instead of which, Rishi Sunak has decided to cut waiting times for a GP's appointment by allowing your local pharmacist to prescribe medication for a series of common complaints. And I'm not saying that we shouldn't once in a while review what pharmacists can and can't dispense. But acting like this is going to solve the problem of GP waiting times is, first of all, it's actually, we're losing GPs at a rate of knots. So even if it does solve the problem right now, the problem's going to come back in a few years' time because it's an ongoing situation. We've got an ongoing loss of GP surgeries across the UK. But secondly, there are all sorts of reasons why actually a lot of the time it's better to have a GP's appointment. In fact, a lot of the time we all know we could go to a pharmacy and ask for some drugs, but we've asked for a GP's appointment because we're worried that the symptoms we've got don't seem very typical. We're worried about something else that's going on. People who go into their GP surgery are often able to describe, is this related? Well, no, it's not related actually, but you should probably get it tested anyway. Doctors are often able to give people advice about what else they should be looking at and what else they should be keeping an eye on. On top of which, we get people to go into GP surgery sometimes because we want to, for example, discourage people taking loads and loads of antibiotics because we know that antibiotic resistance is on the rise in our society. So allowing your local pharmacy to hand antibiotics over after only a couple of questions is actually escalating that problem, and then we're going to have a new problem, which is that antibiotics end up not working and then people end up being hospitalised in much greater numbers, and it ends up overwhelming the rest of the NHS. Like the knock-on effect of this. And let's see what pharmacies are saying about it. They're saying, loads of pharmacies will close because there's already a huge funding gap and the tiny amount of additional money that's being offered isn't going to fill it in any way, especially when they're now expected to do a ton of extra work. So this solution to the problem isn't solving anything. It's like there's too much garbage in your garden, and rather than paying the waste disposal people to come and remove it, you throw it into your neighbour's garden, and now there's the same amount of garbage on your street, but now your neighbours hate you and they're probably going to end up slinging twice as much back, having taken a dump in it. It's ridiculous solving a problem by creating another ultimately bigger problem. It's like deciding you're angry with the Soviet Union and therefore funding the Afghan Mujahideen and as a result creating the Taliban. Do you know how these things have gone badly in the past? And this level of incompetence, I'm afraid it doesn't even look like incompetence, does it? It looks like willful harm that's being done. And whatever it is, whether it's stupidity or deliberate harm, it needs to stop. And we need a government that can do better than this. And amazingly, solving that by getting rid of one Tory and putting in another is a little bit like throwing your garbage into somebody else's garden. See you next week. Increasingly, the mainstream media is terrible at informing the public of what is really going on. I'm only able to make these videos because people are generous enough to sponsor me making them, and if you're able to be a part of that, I would hugely appreciate it. It can cost as little as $1 a month and you'll get loads of fun bonus content and lots of extras from me and my undying gratitude. I also massively appreciate it if you're able to like, share these videos and let people out there know what's going on.